All right, so we are we are here in my office with Pastor Josh, who is our Associate Pastor of Family Adult Ministries.
Howdy.
We are here with Pastor Dan, who is our Associate Pastor of Senior Adult Ministries.
Howdy.
And we are here with Tom McCracken, who is just here. I have no idea what my role is. But anyway, I have fun sharing the gospel and preaching the word. Now, let me tell you, this is a video exclusively for the pastoral staff and the deacons and all of our wives. The reason that I am doing this video is because our congregation is in a very unique and blessed state in that this time of year, generally, we're trying to figure out, budget. So we have a 2019 budget that is forthcoming. We're working through that now. But we have the added benefit of having $243,000 available to us. That was a dispersion check from a sale of our property. So in addition to being debt-free, in addition to trying to put together our 2019 running budget, we also have $243,000 to try to figure out how we can use that money to benefit the gospel, to spread the gospel, to benefit our mission. So it is that line item list that I wanted to go over because we have a lot of things on that list, and as you know, I handed these out to you on Sunday. These are your lists. But what you didn't get was an idea of how this idea would benefit us, our mission, our vision, what some of these things are, a definition, explanation, and how ultimately it affects the gospel, which is our primary vision, mission for our congregation. We are all about the gospel. And to be honest with you, if there's something that has nothing to do with the gospel, we really need to consider that. So I wanted to take this opportunity to create this video to give you all a lot more information than you have had. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will have as much information about each one of these line items. Again, what they are, how they're going to benefit us, and how the gospel is involved in each one of these things. So with that model, we're going to go through each line item. Pastor Josh will speak, Pastor Dan will speak, and I'll speak, each to our own respective entries. Now, these guys are going to speak to requests that they personally put in and are reflected on this paper. I will not only speak to the ones that I put in, but also taking the input that I have received from our congregation. Now, again, this year I wanted to do even more than we have done in the past. This year, instead of just our financial secretary, our staff, and our deacons coming together, looking at our old budget, putting together a new budget, I gave budget request forms to every single spending authority leader in our congregation, from nursery to senior adult, from music to audio video, and all in between, asking input from those that have spending authority and those that have a vested interest in that specific ministry. I think that would help us, and certainly it did. We got a lot of response. But also, if you recall, about a month ago, I sent a calling post message out to our entire congregation asking every church member, if you have any ideas on one-time spending for that money, please contact me and let me know. And I received some input. So I will also be speaking to the line items that are on here reflected in the input that I received from teams, from individuals, from leaders, from church members. I'll be speaking to those as well. So needless to say, the past 2 months, there has been a lot of thought, prayer, and effort put into what is on this list. And let me say this list was probably almost twice as big as it is now. But after meeting with the different people that gave input and talking through some of these things, even items that I originally had on are no longer on here. So you're getting the bottom line, this is what we like. And the great news is we have enough money to meet all of these needs, give everybody their dream, and have money left over for future projects. So let's just go ahead and start. The first line item is the property team. So our property team head was given a piece of paper, a budget request form, and asked, put down every bit of one-time expenses that you would like to use to improve our campus. Some of those things are an alarm system. As you know, we have no alarm system right now. We have a wireless video system that is completely in-house. In other words, if somebody breaks in, we're not going to catch them on video inside, and it's certainly not held off cloud off-site to a security company. We do have a monitoring system when any door is open or movement is sensed. We have an outside company that receives trouble, calls one of the pastoral staff, Pastor Dan, calls Pastor Dan, and the police respond. Our idea is to provide more synergy in an alarm system that would be a lot more user-friendly and even more cost-effective, one that would record outside, inside, not be tricky with Wi-Fi like this one is. This one has not been what we thought it would be. It's been causing a lot of problems. It's inconsistent at best. So there is no doubt with all of the tragedy that we've had, that's why this is on this list. An alarm system is very important. Thermostats, apparently we have some that are bad, we need to replace. Paint supplies, landscaping, handrails at certain places that would benefit for safety. Kick plates on some doors. Baptistry hot water heater. Right now we don't have one. We run the hot water till it runs out. That's why it's cold every baptism that we do. New door on the Bellevue side. That's on the back side of the church. Apparently the property team thinks that that door is not great. We need to replace it. So that's what that is. And that amounts to $16,701. The second one is the media team. This is primarily Jerry, who is basically runs that back area. We do have, Pastor Dan has a whole team for the video. We have people running audio. Wayne David is doing a great job of that. And Jerry runs the video portion. But Jerry pretty much knows everything in that box better than anyone. He was there when that mixer for the sound was installed. So he put in a request for $10,000. That includes ear monitors. That's for those who are singing, to have an ear monitor like Steve has. That helps the singers hear better as they perform. It just enhances their ministry. More wireless mics. We just don't have enough wireless mics to accommodate groups and even 3 people singing and then maybe another talking. And unfortunately, we had some wireless mics thrown away or stolen, or they disappeared. And so Jerry doesn't know what happened, but we need to replace those. Assisted listening devices. These are given out to people with hearing trouble on a Sunday morning. It allows them to, in their pew, wirelessly put in an ear mic, a speaker, and it connects to the sound system so they hear the sermon and the music as it's coming through the speakers. We are maxed out. We have people that need them that aren't able to have them. In fact, we have such a limited supply, we have found church members taking them home with them after service to ensure that they would have them the following service. So this would mean we would have some more. Different miscellaneous supplies for sound. Choir mics. Right now our choir is not microphoned, except for the stand mics that we have in front, and they are not designed. They're more of a bi-directional. We need it like more of an omnidirectional or a cone even. Condenser microphone kind of a thing for the choir that would hang from the choir loft. And if you've sat in the sanctuary, you know this is a justified expense. We have a magnificent 25 member choir, and they are not being heard like they could be. And lastly, a back projector and screen. So if you ever noticed in the choir loft, there is a giant screen, and a projector shoots what the congregation sees on both sides. That one is for the choir. The lumens is so low, and the signal becomes so degraded by the time it gets to the screen, the choir can barely see anything. Any video cannot be seen by the choir. The video quality is just horrific. So that would give a brand new projector and a brand new screen for the choir, for the speakers, anybody up on the stage. The next thing is media submitted by Pastor Dan. So I'll allow him to share his vision on that.
All right, so the media system that is on their third line item, this is for the sanctuary, not for the fellowship hall. We have, at this point, been doing things as cheaply as we possibly can. So we run a camera, we do live streaming, we pay for the monthly service on the live streaming. What we're projecting to do, this bid is for 3 cameras. There would be 1 on each side, remotely controlled, 1 up in the back that is remotely controlled directly down the center aisle. Right now we're a little off center, and all 3 remotely controlled into a board which would allow us to seamlessly phase from one camera to the other, be able to follow without any difficulty losing track of the speaker or the singers. It gives us the ability to do picture-in-picture, lower third of the screen we can put in the Bible verses. So it is a pretty sophisticated system. It's the bottom end of broadcasting. Now the benefit to this is that we will look far more professional. It will have a much more high quality appearance. If you're going to do something for the gospel, it should be the best. And this is the best we can do for that kind of a dollar figure. The gospel purpose is if you're going to maintain people's attention, if you're going to keep them watching, you need to give them the kind of quality that they're used to seeing everywhere else in media. And this is very doable, affordable, lower end. And then there's the installation of that. So we've got the cameras, the cables, the monitor, the switching board, and there's also even a little laptop that allows us to work things in together. So the installation of that, so then the next item on there, now by the way, before I go any further, we've met people who cannot physically come to our church, but they watch everything we do.
I'll throw out some names. Dwayne and Judy Leonard are a couple in our congregation that many Sundays they are just physically unable to come, and they have said publicly on Facebook, thank you that this is available. Shirley Sprouse is another one this past Sunday, said thank you. But the quality right now stinks. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it is. So this is gospel purpose. And if you take it even another level, if you look at the statistics, we have probably close to 3,000 viewers a week all around the world. And I can take you to that and show you where in different countries people watch us. And they don't just watch us live. There's also the archiving of the video, because people watch us at different times. You know, you wake up 3 in the morning, you want to watch it, and there it is.
Nancy Larson, she told me this past Wednesday, she said, you know, I hear you here, Pastor Tom, and at 3 o'clock in the morning I'm watching you too.
That's right.
I don't know why somebody would put themselves through that.
A lot of people watch at their leisure.
Right.
And we've grown and becoming so sophisticated that we now have it available on a mobile device. We have an app.
Yep.
We have our website. We have you know, the ability to stream it through Facebook most of the time if we hit it right. Okay.
I think the next one's mine. Kitchen.
Kitchen. Yep, you're up.
So we have had a kitchen for the past 2 years in this facility that has been unusable as per fire marshal, as per code. There's a hood system in there. It does not have a fire suppression system installed internally. It does not have an outside vent. And so our kitchen has been pretty much unusable. Can't cook, can't do anything in there. And so originally, the handout that you had says $5,000. Through the deacons meeting this past Sunday, through some discussion, it was let's do $15,000. $15,000 is a better number to look at when you're talking construction, punching holes through walls, a fire suppression system, getting that vent running. So that has been increased to $15,000. Honestly, the goal through that is so that we can actually have a kitchen that we can use. Right now it's been kind of dead space, and that would certainly open up a lot of gospel opportunities for us to engage not only our culture outside the church, but also to minister to the people inside of our church. You know, I think this is a no-brainer. Pretty much everybody knows, you know, you have a kitchen, it'd be nice to use it. So
Amen.
That's pretty much, the $15,000 is primarily looking at a suppression system. Anything, you know, if we can get construction under that, then we can, you know, start talking about if we need new appliances, a new floor, aesthetics, things like that. But the primary goal is to get the kitchen up and running. And the number one thing that we need to do, the obstacle, is the ventilation system above the ovens, knocking the wall out, putting a vent there, and having the fire suppression system that the fire marshal could approve. Children and youth, now there's a thing called a Gaga pit for $2,000. There's some false information out there.
My fault.
There's fake news out there. There's fake news.
Fake news.
It's huge. There's fake news. So, Pastor Josh, tell us what a Gaga pit is, because I didn't even know what one was.
All right, a Gaga pit is a wooden octagon shape that is held together by metal brackets, and you take like a kickball or a four-square ball, and it is to be able to, for the youth to be able to engage with each other. You play a game inside of it. Whenever you get hit below the waist, you have to get outside, and of course you keep cheering until there's only 2 of you, and you have this massive David versus Goliath kind of battle to see who ends up winning. So I mean, it's a pretty neat game. I've seen it at 2 different youth camps that I've been to over the summer. The one in North Carolina that we went to, that was where everybody migrated to. One night they even had only youth pastors playing against each other, and it got pretty fun. But how does it benefit us? I mean, we got a playground we want to use. We got a Gaga pit in there. We can have tournaments, invite the community out here to have these type tournaments, and then gospel opportunity. We don't do anything on our campus unless there's a devotional or something done to spread the gospel. So yeah, invite the people from right up the road here. Hey, apartment complex, come in here, play Gaga pit while you're here. Oh, by the way, let me tell you a Bible story. Let me share the gospel with you.
All right, so the misinformation that's out there is a safety concern, and it would concern me too if true, and that is that the Gaga pit has a concrete foundation.
No.
It's the opposite.
You can either put mulch in it and have a mulch pit, but from my experience, the hard ground itself makes better for the ball to bounce. So no, you don't use concrete. You would just have either a dirt floor, or like I said, you could put some mulch in depending on what kind of ball you wanted to use.
All right, cool. And it would be in the gated area, locked up. No, problems with people from the community using it because it's locked up, controlled.
Exactly.
And it would only be used if it were under supervision of you or church people. No concrete slab.
No.
So if they fall, there's no getting hurt. Cool. Thank you so much. All right, the next one is financial secretary had put a request in. Well, I know somebody that knows her and can speak to this line item, and it's actually $800 training for ACS. What is ACS and what is this for?
ACS is the church accounting software that we use, and we recently upgraded to their better version, which is called Realm, R-E-L-M, R-E-A-L-M, Realm. And so it does a lot. And she can use it and do what she's always done, but it does so much more, and she'd like to bring in training to show her some of the things that I know it can do that we haven't quite grasped the fullness of yet are things like online giving, Sunday school interaction. Rather than buying the books every quarter or every year for Sunday school books, you'd be able to use an iPad and just enter it in, and it automatically is in our system. You could reference it. We can all reference it at any time and see where we're going, who's been added. We're currently working on an online directory through a different company, but Realm has that ability, and we're already paying for it. So if we choose to, if we learn how, we can abandon the system that we're paying next to nothing for, that we're hoping to develop, and just migrate all that information into Realm and use Realm,
Awesome.
which we already have.
Awesome. And let me just state this: our church is one of the few that has a financial secretary that is completely volunteer. Everything she does is on her volunteer time, Miss Ellen. And she works a full-time job. She now has at home Kayla that's struggling. She has to put up with Pastor Dan. So she's requesting some of this money for training for her to figure out how best in her service to help the church.
Amen.
So that's what it's for training. And the next one is Sunday school. You're the Sunday school director.
I am the Sunday school director, and so this line item is for those cheap version, no-name iPads to be able to put in all of your Sunday school information records in, rather than using the paper ones.
One for each teacher
One
for each class.
teacher. So there's 8 of them, about $100 a piece. We might could get cheaper, and then what we would do is we would buy one, make sure that it works and does what we want it to do, and then we would go out and buy all the others. So it's about $800 for that.
And what would that do
Excuse me,
specifically?
$480.
$480.
Yeah.
What would that do?
That would allow us to integrate all of the Sunday school information into our system and be able to access it live.
Okay.
So if you after church came in and said, I wonder if Billy Bob was in Sunday school today, you could go in, you could pull that up, and you could look and say, yes, he was. As a matter of fact, he brought 2 visitors with him.
So for a teacher, they enter the attendance in there, and it just provides this common dump where it's just giving synergy.
Right. And because it's going into Realm, it then goes into the people module, So every
Got
person's
it.
Sunday school information is there and what they're involved in, and you can develop it out further and take the realm portion of the people and say, okay, well, Billy Bob's also involved in the multimedia team.
A lot of Billy
Bob
Bobs.
is also a deacon, and so you've got everybody's information, and you can access it from your mobile devices. And it's,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Just, all right, so signage, 2,500, what is that, signage?
Signage, this is interior decoration as well as informational directions. We've been wanting to put signs on every door stating something to the effect of, here's our hours, during worship service, you'll please enter through the main door. And then the interior decorations, we've got poster boards, cork boards, bulletin boards everywhere. And that was great in the 60s and 70s, but it would be really nice to take some of them and move towards beautifying some banners and
Okay.
adding some banners. We can keep the ones that we want to keep.
Sure.
And we can, the ones that haven't been changed in 2 years, maybe that'd be a good place to put up some decorations.
All right, so, and let me just add to this, in addition to that signage, we're also, later on, we're gonna talk about a safety team. That signage will also reflect some of our safety policies that we end up deciding on and approving with the safety team. You know, which doors will be locked during the service. You need a sign that says, you know, this door is locked, but the sanctuary door you can use. You also need signs that will communicate, you know, if we decide to have a policy that says no book bags on property, like First Baptist Church in Dallas, I was there last year. They have signs all over their campus. No book bags past this point, leave them in your car. And we need signs that when you get into our church, if you're a visitor, you need to know where the bathrooms are. You need to know where children's church is. You need to know where the nursery is. I mean, there are things, fellowship hall. Can't tell you how many times we've had a fellowship to have new members or visitors say, how do I get to the fellowship hall? So signage outside and inside is what this is, which will give a much more smooth experience for our visitors and our new members. Wi-Fi equipment, this is a big one, Pastor Dan, $14,000 for Wi-Fi equipment.
That's one bid, and we're working on getting a second bid because I'm pretty sure I can get it cheaper than that. But Wi-Fi is, right now we've got a piecemeal Wi-Fi system that works in some places.
True.
And so it would be really beneficial for the sake of teachers, visitors, you know, staff, to be able to access the Wi-Fi system anywhere on the campus. So there, you know, Wi-Fi, we've got 4 levels in the educational building. You know, it's hit and miss.
It is.
Some have it, some don't. You come into the sanctuary, if you're sitting in the back, you might get service, you might not.
Which affects our live stream broadcasts on Sunday. Many times we don't go live, or it cuts off, or there's issues with our broadcast for our Sunday services because of Wi-Fi. It's not commercial Wi-Fi.
So this also not only includes putting all of our campus on the same system, the same signal, the same strength, but also giving us hardwired from the main source to the media station in the sanctuary. So we've got that dedicated hard line. So that's the vision there.
All right, so computer tech upgrades, this is for the 3 staff members and the financial secretary, which will also down benefit the sound booth and others from, we'll recycle all the equipment that we have and put them in other ministries. So the nursery can have a laptop and register children if needed. But this will upgrade us, keep all 4, the pastoral staff, the financial secretary, with the same, we'll all go with Apple, with the same Mac software. It'll also include a cloud hard drive here, so that every bit of information will be maintained and kept, stored on-site and off-site through the cloud. This will provide synergy for all the staff. You know, Pastor Dan loses his computer, all of his sermons, all the information, church stuff will be here, and I can access it. This is designed more to provide a lot more synergy and increase productivity within staff than we have right now. And again, every bit. I mean, this laptop will be repurposed in another ministry that will benefit in our congregation. So that's what that is, and that is on the high end. I shot high with that. Facebook Live equipment, $1,500. Our Wednesday morning, Wednesday night now, Sunday morning we go Facebook Live. But I've been taking advantage a lot lately of the Facebook Live for other things. And it tremendous response to our Facebook Live videos all over the world. I have over 1,700 friends on Facebook, and when I do a Facebook Live video, hundreds of views every time. Last time we did a Facebook Live video, we went out to Kroger parking, all three of us, and it's about 600 views already. In less than a week, it was almost 600 views. So the equipment that we have, we've not really paid for. It's just all, my phone that I paid for. So this would allow us to buy some decent, lower end, but portable equipment that we could use for Facebook Live and help with that. That's what that's for. Playground mulch and miscellaneous. We have not used our playground pretty much for 2 years because the mulch is all gone. You can see tarp, you can see grass, you can see mud. It is not a good place for our children to play. We have needed mulch ever since we moved in. When we first moved in, we had our landscape guy get a bid for mulch, and it was like $2,500. We had a lot of other things going on, so we decided not right now. $5,000 for the mulch. That is on the high end, but that would get it done. That would mulch the entire fenced-in area and allow that playground once again to be used by our children at our church and for gospel outreach into our community, as long as it's supervised by church staff and church members. Another big ticket item is the Memorial Garden. I have $20,000 budgeted, and this is a Tabernacle Memorial Garden. G&H Contracting is working on an estimate, even working on getting some donations for some of the material, because they thought it was a great idea as well. The campus that we're in right now, as you know, Tabernacle gifted. And if you remember all the way back at Russell Drive, my heart was we need to honor those people some way. And through the past 2 years, this is what I have been passionate about, and this is what I have envisioned, having a memorial garden area outside where our crosses are now and a couple benches are now. But basically, you've been to different places. Library at Salem had one up a while. Bristol has one. I think Roanoke has one. The big love sign, the giant love sign. And people are going to these love signs, getting their pictures taken. Instagram is a big deal for families, for youth. I would like us to have love, hope, and faith. Faith, hope, and love, 1 Corinthians. And have a plaque out there in the Memorial Garden dedicating that garden to the folks at Tabernacle Baptist Church that had the vision, generosity, and love to gift everything that we have. The reason that we have the money to do any of these things is because of that act of generosity. So I want to honor them, and I am a firm believer. This is something that I was passionate about and put on this list. I would love to have this memorial garden to honor them, but also for the community. These signs, faith, hope, and love, it will draw people in the community to our campus to enjoy a lunch, to get their picture taken, for us to interact. It'll bring more people, engage our culture for Jesus Christ. Now the question is, wow, wait a second, I thought our insurance company said nobody can be on our campus. Nope. Actually, nobody can be playing, nobody can be running, nobody can be skateboarding. All those things are absolutely true. But my vision for the Memorial Garden, I have already talked and met with Brotherhood Mutual. They said that vision absolutely would be covered, no issues at all. There's no playing, there's no roller skating, you're sitting and you're enjoying a memorial garden. Anybody can come, there's no liability whatsoever, no risk whatsoever, completely covered. So that's my vision, and that's the reason that I have that money in there. The safety team, as you know, shootings in synagogues, churches, temples, increasing exponentially in our country. We want to make sure that we have safety measures in place. We have put this off for far too long. This has just been a big issue that we have not addressed and taken the bull by the horns. Now we have the money to put things in place so that we have no excuse anymore. This will work in cooperation with our video system. That if that gets passed, this will help with that. Safety team, $1,500. That would give every safety team member walkie-talkies so that if someone is seen in the back parking lot, they can communicate to the head of the safety team to let them know there's an issue without having to run through the church trying to find someone. It will also involve ammunition so that our safety team can hone their skills and get trained at a range. It'll also include badges, not that say security, but that can be color-coded badges that we know internally. Blue badge means safety team, and if you as a congregation member see something that you're a little sketchy on, that you can find somebody with a blue badge and say, you know, somebody over here has a book bag and they look sketchy. Those exact scenarios have happened in our church in the past year. So safety team, we feel, is fairly important. The next one is a towable grill unit. As you know, for the past couple of years, we have gone off-site and ministered to different groups of